Here we are again. Here we are again. Okay. I guess we just keep going with the Russians for the time being. Okay, where were we? I feel like I got no money and no people. Yeah. There we are. Oh, Russians are so cheap. Oh, no way. Russian Reiner recruits. Let's see the tech trees. Fascinating. Cavalry. How much was the cavalry? 450 Cossacks. Let's do another one of these. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay. We got lots of stuff we can sell. Oh, Dan, you're back. What's up, man? Yeah, so they're more of like a status symbol after the Battle of Liegnitz in 1760. Frederick strips the hangers from one of the regiment. I want to say it's the Anhalt-Bernburg regiment, although it's definitely the Anhalt regiment. I don't know if it's Anhalt-Bernburg who's the chef at that particular year. And it's not like impeding the regiment's ability to fight, but it is a sign of like a loss of honor. They also have like the lace stripped from their uniforms, and actually, I'm telling you wrong. They get it back after the Battle of Liegnitz. They mess up at like the Siege of Dresden, I think, in the previous year or earlier in that same year. So yeah, they're not a ton. I mean, that scene where in Barry Lyndon, Redmond is like telling his kid about how they're cutting the Frenchman's head off with hangers. I mean, I don't think like guys never drew their swords, and certainly like I think in the Hungarian regulations they're supposed to like draw their swords when they charge, but hand-to-hand combat doesn't happen super frequency in field battles, and so it's not shocking that hangers don't get used a ton. And by the time you get to the British Army in even the American Revolution, they're ditching their hangers. I mean that the like Subsidientruppen, the Hessians are still carrying them in the AWI, but a lot of other armies have kind of ditched them by that point. Okay, what? Did you play the game, Dan, or just here for the straight history stuff? Are you a gamer in addition to being a student of history and online personality? No, I can't give you no tea and cheese? Man, it's unfortunate. Alright, back on the road, maybe? Let's do it. Should I burn down the town? down. You haven't played MSA. Did you play Empire Total War back in the day, or maybe still play it? I know there are some like academic historians who would say, video games are not super people shouldn't play video games. Although I saw like Alex Mikabaridze playing this, and that really just improved my life and made me think that maybe I'm not as washed up as I thought I might be. Organic Arc. Hello, could you please explain why in depictions of 18th century infantry, alongside the colors, they're individuals with what look like spears or halberds? Yeah, absolutely. In some cases, the armies, they actually do call them halberds, right? But the NCOs and officers, like company level officers, are carrying, the officers who aren't on horseback, which is most of them, are carrying weapons that are badges of honor, and are supposed to represent almost like a throwback to 17th century warfare and like pikes and I mean, but even in that period, like a lot of officers are carrying shorter bladed pole arms. So it's a status symbol. It's supposed to be kind of assist you in controlling the men. I mean, if the guys are trying to run away, you're supposed to be able to sort of like almost like push them forward. I think in practice that doesn't happen very much. I mean, they are occasionally used in combat. But yeah, that's why it's like a status symbol for the officers, almost like having a cane, although frequently officers also have canes, are a status symbol as well. These spontoons or half pikes or halberds, whatever you want to call them. It varies army to army. They're carried by most. I don't think they're represent modeled in the actual game itself, but they are. You can equip them, and I want to say I just did. Maybe let's see. Yeah, here's an example of one. You can see there's a lot of fine metalwork that goes into like the leaf blades on the end of these spontoons for the officers. It's really it's kind of an expensive status symbol, and something that instantly you can look around the regiment and see who's who. Just like uniform and visual distinctions. Okay, I want to give these guys some picks. No, these are reload. These have carbines, so no, that would not be helpful. No, I'm killing my people again. Alright. I don't know that any of these are super helpful. Rome 2 was a hot mess, but I got a real soft spot for it. Honestly, same. I was just starting my master's degree when that came out, and I was absolutely crushed by the level of detail on like the naval warfare side of that game, because I'm actually kind of like, I think all historians really have like, guilty pleasures, like fields that they wish they were specialists in because they went and specialized in something else. But like ancient naval warfare is one of those fields for me, and so I was expecting to like come in and be able to like shear the oars off of enemy ships, and the actual naval combat that we got in Rome 2 was pretty atrocious. But I still played the heck out of the game and wasted countless hours of my life as like a Seleucid. So it was it was a good time. It was a really good time. Okay, back to work here. Let's buy another brigade. And back up again. Battlefield. I feel like there's a significant school of German historiography in this town, so let's burn it down. Bielefeld. Yeah, it was absolute pandemonium. A great feeling. Oh man, okay. Let's get. I'm fighting the British as the Russians. Crazy. Grew up on Total War games too, clocked ungodly numbers of hours on all of them. Haha. Yes, I feel that, Organic. Yeah, yeah, it's you wish that maybe they had continued to be, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna sound like an old man yelling at clouds. Maybe I should cut myself off here. But my wife is really into ancient Egypt, and so she was incredibly excited for Pharaoh to come out. And when it came out, we were both kind of crushed. Is that seriously a triple negative attribute city on Act 1? Maybe people who actually understand this game can tell me something. I have been like raiding every town I can find. Does that not like make people hate you more? I thought it did. It certainly makes stuff like more expensive in different cities. I don't know. And is that like a picture of Emperor Palpatine and your name is the Senate? My hat's off, man. It's incredible. Played a lot of Armenia. Yes, incredible. Yeah, man, it was a wild time. Even with all the flaws, I still have a real soft spot for that game. All right, let's hopefully go destroy this British army that is like half the size of mine. Anything's possible. I made my account when I was 12, 10 years ago. All right. Still, props. I ought to change it at some point. Well, I guess if you want. I mean, you improved my evening, so do what seems best to you. Where's everybody coming in from? Anybody like? I'm in the greater Pittsburgh area, I guess. I know we got some folks originally from Texas and now in California. Where's everybody else from? Any folks join us from Europe? It's getting pretty late over there. Shogun 2 was real clean, and I would just play mod to give Matchlock equal ranged bows. Yeah, I would agree. Like, again, I don't want to come off as like an old man yelling at a cloud, but I think Shogun was sort of, oh yeah, dude, Oda Pikes, man, yeah, that takes me back. Shogun was great. So Frostfire, how you doing? Also, to answer your question about the settlements, is that you can raid them, and they only get raided, which makes shop items. Okay, that's it. So I just am incredibly unlucky that like the town hates me. Then, and they're like 3 negative attributes. I mean, I'm just burning it down. So, I guess it is what it is. I'm defending core land, I guess, as the Russians. Or no, am I attacking somewhere? I don't know. I'd have to. Clearly I'm in Germany, if it's Bielefeld. But the British are fighting me, so this is one of these like weird alt moments from this game. We'll see if we can get something a little bit more historical in the second act, or maybe just play Prussia here in a minute if I could play at the quality that I normally do. We'll see what goes down. Detroit, no way. That's where like my extended family is from. On my dad's side anyway. And I still have people in Livonia and up north of the city near like Lake Orion. Actually going up there next month. Seeing my cousin. He's big into Horus Heresy, and so we're doing some of that. Prussia is great. Bayreuth ROP. Your name is the Senate, and you're spitting facts. I mean, what's going on here? Okay. Well, let's go in and see how things are looking like. Oh, Humble Towns. Yeah, I love it. Anyone play Manor Lords? I'm trying to convince the medievalists in my history department to. There you go, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be up. Unfortunately, my cousin no longer lives in Lake Orion. He lived in Kigo Harbor for a time. I think now he's in like Sterling Heights. I don't know the area super well, but yeah, I'm gonna be up there next month. I'm trying to convince my colleagues who are medieval historians in Java. I'm trying to convince my colleagues who are medieval historians to do like a Manor Lords playthrough night on campus, because I think the undergraduates would definitely like freak out, and they're way outraging us. That's fun. So we'll see if I can convince my more serious medieval colleagues who are not natural gamers to play Manor Lords on campus for the delight of the students. We'll see if that comes to anything or not. My guess will be not, but hope springs eternal. So man, he must be late in Warsaw now, like midnight. Do you all do a time change? And we're getting ready to do the time change here tonight. Oh man, well, there go both of them. That's not doesn't seem great. Original Musketeers with right here, probably. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I've never been to Warsaw. I'll want to go. We'll go at some point. Hopefully, we'll go at some point. It's when I go to Poland, mostly I'm in Slovakia. I'm trying to count the Barry Lyndon references in the game, and I think we're at 3. You mean like just tonight? Like in the stream? Or like in the game as a whole? I guess I did talk about the hangars, so... You know, it's 50 years this year. I'm thinking about doing... I terminally online, clearly, but I spend a lot of my time on Twitter, and I am losing account really badly at the moment. I'm thinking about doing a 50th anniversary thread on Barry Lyndon. I did a couple of threads earlier this year, just because it's actually not a bad depiction of 18th century warfare. I mean, like, it's outdated, sure, and we're 50 years on in a lot of ways, but it's better than the Patriot. I'm saying. Problematic. For those of you who played this, like somebody seemed like it's yeah, that's true. You're right. It's just nice that we got one. Oh, the Highlands are charging too. Hopefully we can kill them all with. Who has the? Who is the least incompetent? Wow, that's so rude. The least incompetent, and that's a joke, Gaslight. I'm not actually razzing you there. It's a fair question. I mean, Tutleben raids Berlin. It's pretty cool. The least incompetent. I mean, I am a fan of Saltykov. I associate Rumyantsev more with like the period after the 7 Years' War, but he's definitely there and definitely playing a role. I mean, Apraxin doesn't do great, but he doesn't like outright lose Grossjägersdorf. Yeah, it's a good question. Alright. You can double over your reserve recruits between reloads. Does that mean like I can get them to bend over or like sit down? I don't know what that sentence means, but I'm excited to learn. You can double over your reserve recruits between reloads. I'm excited. I'm excited to figure out what this means. Also, have you tried to play Adapting any of Bruce Wiley's? I have not. Bruce Weigel. Was he a reenactor? I feel like I met him at a reenactment once. I actually have never heard of him in connection with the Franco-Prussian War. I associate him with like reenacting Braunschweigers in like Midwestern America. Once your infantry fires the first volley, you can send up your observation recruit in front of them immediately after and get a lot of morale damage quickly. You're saying like one unit fires, the next unit runs through and then fires as well? Like, that's something I could do, but like that's completely ahistorical. So clearly, if I'm not playing this game to be like a power gamer, because I just don't know. Someone has thank you, Gary. That's absolutely right. I mean, like, we tried to give it out to the I was giving out great handfuls of the children to the end. But yeah, it's a mess, an absolute mess. Min-maxing, that's right. No, my cousin is a total power gamer, so he would completely approve of this strategy. But interpenetration of lines while firing is occurring doesn't really have. Yeah, I'm eating the candy right now, as maybe you can hear. Grand tactical rules. I don't know what you mean, Gaslight, but again, I'm excited to find out here. All right. Let's go buy more reservists, I guess. Out of people. No, where's my mouse button? What is happening right now? Favorite Halloween candy? Oh man, we're getting into the real questions now. I don't know, like maybe Twix. I really like Nerds, but I don't know, those are like super common Halloween candy that's given out. I mean, I bought some because I like giving them out, and we have some left, so I'm gonna eat those. But yeah, I'm not sure. How about you? What candy do we have going on in the chat here? What do y'all like? I shouldn't have burnt down Bielefeld. That was a mistake. Oh, Korbach. There was a big battle there in the 18th century. Man, that is not the headquarters army, is it? No, there's Warburg. There's another big battle there in the 18th century. Man, maybe that is the headquarters army. Oh, Kit Kats. There we go. Now we're talking. I got some of those downstairs. Slums. Oh yes, here we go. Here's another Barry Lyndon reference. The Senate. Sweet tarts are great, my man. A man of culture, right there. A moderate chance to win. And also it's literally like the gambling guy from Barry Lyndon is on the guy on, I guess, from like I'll perspective the left in this picture. Stake a large sum. Exciting. What happens in the Holy Roman Empire stays in the Holy Roman Empire. I feel like we're in Courland right now, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe we're not. I grew up Calvinist, so betting is like against my religion. So I guess we'll go here. Oh man. Here we go. Okay, hold on. I'm getting actual game advice from people who know what's going on now. You can click the little flag next to the defeat enemy headquarters to see where it is. Yo, the Irish gambler. Yes. Okay. Let me sell some stuff. Hold on. So one of my favorite anecdotes from the 18th century is, and this is not stuff I found in the sources, but Christopher Duffy talked about this, is the guys had to be told, like, you can't put your lit pipes in your cartridge boxes because it will cause the cartridge boxes to explode. And that is one of my favorite stories, just because, like, it's something that seems so obvious, but having talked to a lot of I guess modern military officers, they remind me that stuff that seems obvious is not always immediately obvious to the privates who are like 17, 18 years old. All right. Can we buy? Let's first buy stuff here. Yeah, maybe some more of that and one more of those. And we have enough to buy 2 recruits. Ooh, field artillery. Should we get some artillery, guys? Ooh, Don Cossacks. Although, out of my price range. Too rich for my blood, those Don Cossacks. Okay, what do you think? Rider recruits? Or... Oh, yeah, I also can't afford the field artillery. What am I even talking about? Yeah, so frontier recruits or rider recruits? What do y'all think? Wow, you can go wide super easily as Russia. Is that like a play wide versus play tall kind of thing? If so, I respect the game. Let's do... Frontier recruits are cheap. Well, yeah, but like, again, it's an aspirational artillery situation, Gary, because I have no money. So, how extensively deployed in Army advance guards tend to be in the... Oh, okay. I clearly this is Dan Dan, so this is a question about like actual history, not the game. I mean, it kind of depends on the army in the particular situation, but I would say, like, on the march, you're like deploying into line when you're actually getting ready to confront the enemy in battle, obviously. Usually they're not, like, once the army is deployed in line, you're only a couple hundred yards away from the main army. Very rarely would, like, the advance guard go into action, like, miles away from the general army, like, more like in a Napoleonic setting. And so there are examples of, like, small raiding parties and like, individual detached corps attacking enemy positions pretty far away from the main army. But if it's, like, a general engagement and you've got the whole army, like, backing you up, the advance guard is only, I think, probably not more than, like, a quarter mile, half a mile from the main army. And yeah, I would say Duffy actually describes what, yeah, I have seen the village. I literally just referenced that quote this morning in my talk of Fort Lee in the Year Organic. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. So, sorry, going back up to Dan's question. Duffy talks about the like the column and like the march order of the Prussian advance guard in the 1996 edition of the Army of Frederick the Great. So I would say check out that for like how they're marching. I mean, it kind of, like you got a central line of infantry, but I do think there were like hussars on the wings, so maybe that's multiple columns to you. I don't know. I have seen the Deluge. I was talking like in the last stream. I've got a good friend who try to watch through the Jerzy Hoffmann or like Jerzy Hoffman series of films with every couple of years at least. We watch through all of them in like 2022, and I show my students selections from With Fire and Sword and Potab. Yeah, so, and then finally, Organic says, the bullet is a man thing, only the bayonet knows what it's about, and that is certainly what Marshal Suvorov would say. Alright, I've been distracted from the game here, forgive me. Let's buy some recruits here. I feel like cavalry, maybe? Or, you know what? We never went wrong by having way too much infantry. Okay, here we go. Oh, and let's equip all of our guys with the new cool stuff that we stole from the enemy on the battlefield. Alright, we're gonna give them that. Any recent book recommendations? So, I really don't want to come across like an egomaniac on these streams, because I try not to be. My wife's after me all the time. Have you read mine? That came out in January? I would say please buy that. My publisher and my wife would thank you. It does have the Shulov Secret Howitzer. Shuvalov Secret Howitzer. Yeah, it's a special unlocked unique unit that you have to like play a little bit in the game to get. So I don't have it yet, but you can absolutely get those units, and they have the special sort of oval bore that the Prussians call like the Ochsenmola, or like the ox mouths. It's pretty cool to see it in the game. All right, let's level up some of our guys here. This is my favorite part of the game. All right, observation recruits. Do we want field artillery? I feel like we should have some observation field artillery, because clearly I'm never going to be able to be rich enough to buy actual artillery myself. So let's get some of these guys. Yeah, all right. No, I can't, because I'm not good enough. Okay, incredible. All right, can we upgrade our normal musketeers? We can. Yes. Peak. All right. Oh man, provincial cavalry. We're getting there. Okay. Who needs what? I feel like we should give. Is that accuracy? No, it's reload speed. Where's the T? T gives accuracy. I feel like frontier recruits would be good for accuracy. Yeah, let's put that back there. Let's put that back there. And let's give these guys have T as well. Coffee, cheese. Man. This is crazy. You're a surf recruit, fresh recruited, and you're getting technology that hasn't been invented for like 20 years. This is nuts. Okay. Should I buy an officer? It's probably a good idea. Yes. Andrei Isakov. Is it literally just that this guy is like a different uniform? Is that why he's like $8 cheaper? I feel like I need Senate to tell me how the game works. I feel like we're gonna go with Dimitri. Oh wow! Shirtless grenadiers, no grenades. Here we go. All right, back to it. You know, Osnabrück is a nice town. I don't know that I want to immediately burn this down because I feel like. Hold on. Do they not come with cannons? Did I? I thought it. No, because I didn't upgrade a guy to cannons yet. Yeah. Clearly I'm paying attention here. Okay. Alright, some Hanoverians. Let's do it. People are being so mean about the Polish army in the 18th century on Twitter. It's very unfortunate. Oh, thanks so much, Organic. I again, so I should tell you some other books too. I'm obviously partial to mine, and my publisher is very grateful you bought it. So, and I am too. But if you are interested in like what makes the ordinary soldiers tick, Ilya Berkovich's Motivation in War is incredible. If you're looking for like a deep dive into just the Prussian army in the 7 Years' War, Katrine and Sasha Mobius's like Prussian army soldiers in the 7 Years' War, The Psychology of Honor is incredible. I'm trying to think like what other recent books have come out on the 7 Years' War that I feel like I feel like you've got to read. Obviously, Military Experience in the Age of Reason is like 1987, but it's like a foundational text. Anything by Christopher Duffy, I would really kind of encourage you sort of find and read. But yeah, I didn't want to just tell you to buy my book and sign off. I apologize for dropping the thread there. I am exceptional at managing like the multitasking of like talking to people and also trying to play this game. Okay, let's go fight this vastly smaller British army. Let's do it. Oh! Someone said to me that the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was a defunct country in this period. Is that true? Man, somewhere my student Andrew was like having a conniption fit that you just said that. So Poland is partitioned in 1772, 1792, and 1795. The Polish state is kind of like in a bureaucratic gridlock. They have a law in their parliament or their Sejm called the Liberum Veto that tends to, like, people just in the parliament can veto laws and veto things getting done. And so as a result of that, I wouldn't say Poland is a defunct country, and it's trying to hang on. But it's surrounded by powerful neighbors. It's sort of struggling with bureaucratic gridlock, and it's also struggling with the fact that it has really powerful noblemen who are like different factions within the country. Its neighbors are like sponsoring interest groups within the country. It's an absolute mess. With that said, the Poles do fight in the Great Northern War. They fight like a civil war, the War of the Bar Confederation in 1768 to 1772. They're trying to like turn things around, and the Constitution of May 3rd in 1791, I want to say, is an effort to try and sort of turn this around, but they're unable to do so, and as a result they get partitioned by their neighbors, not directly during this period of the 7 Years' War, but right afterwards, and then really in the 1790s, so like after the American Revolution and even after the French Revolution, Poland disappears from the map of Europe for a time, which is incredibly hard for my students because they love Poland. And as someone who really enjoys Winged Hussars, like you know, a lot of folks do, it's a tough period for me as well. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for like the crazy knowledge dump there. I lecture on this, and I'm getting ready to teach the class again, Eastern Europe under the Tsars, next semester at my university. So it's kind of all fresh in my mind. have one of your students mentioned this game? Yeah, when I was streaming yesterday, I had like 3 or 4 of my students in the feed. They were joking that like, is this office hours? But yes, they have played the game. My student Andrew, who is a big Poland stan, he plays the game. I don't know if any of the other ones have bought it yet, but I'm hoping that that maybe they will. Best books for the Indian and European theaters of the 7 Years' War. Yeah, so I'm not really a scholar who does a lot with South Asia. I will say that there are some incredible... I mean, man, yeah, if you want to spend like $150 on a book, there are some incredible chapters on the war in South Asia in the recent Oxford Handbook of the 7 Years' War. It's almost, in some ways, it's almost like the primary focus of that volume is to talk about the war in India. But sort of barring that, oh man, it's just like the Churchyard from Leuten. That's really fun. Barring that, I would say you gotta get Christopher Duffy's Military Experience in the Age of Reason. You should get Frederick the Great and Military Life by Christopher Duffy. You should look at, I think it's Dennis Showalter's Frederick the Great and Military History. That all of these, you know, basically, if Christopher Duffy on the cover, you know you're getting really good stuff. He was the leading expert in this field for a really long time. He sadly passed away in 2022, and actually this time of the year in 2022. But he was one of my mentors for a long time and a really, really great guy. I don't know if he would have loved this game or not. He I don't know how he felt about video games, but he was a big war gamer, and even in some of his books, he will occasionally diagram the units with his war game figures. So he was definitely a bro. Yeah, I don't know if I want to say that about one of my deceased mentors, but you know what I'm trying to say. As far as other stuff to read on the European War, if you just want general histories of the 7 Years' War, definitely get Daniel Baugh's. I think it's just the Global 7 Years' War. That's probably one of the best places to start on this period. It'll give you kind of what the French and what the British are thinking. That's their governments in Europe, sort of how they're planning things out. Yeah, I forgot the whole cavalry unit over here. He really was. He was. So I met him actually. He came over to. He was British. He taught the British version of West Point, the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst. But he came over to America once a year for basically a wargaming convention. In my home state of Indiana, in South Bend, near Notre Dame, and that's where I met him when I was 18. And he was really nice to me and wrote me some of the letters that helped me get into graduate school and go be a professor. And it was he was a really cool guy. So, hey, Preston, and Gary too. A couple questions here. Gary asks, how much trouble did Ferdinand have integrating the forces from Britain, Hanover, Braunschweig, Hessen-Kassel, etc., into a cohesive army? That's a really great question. And I will say, I guess something to look down the road on not my next scholarly book, which is going to be on George Washington's army in the Revolutionary War, but the book. Come on, guys, we do it. The book that I'm working on after that, co-authoring with a scholar who really works on the French, is specifically going to look at that Western European or Western sort of Holy Roman Empire part of the 7 Years' War, and I'm doing the part specifically that relates with Prince Ferdinand. So it wasn't easy, and immediately after Ferdinand takes over, basically the guys from Braunschweig try to desert. They try to leave the camp in the middle of the night and not be part of the army anymore, and they have to basically almost arrest these guys in order to keep them in the fight. I'm getting destroyed here. This is great. I'm glad I'm doing this, getting pantsed here in front of the internet. The Hanoverians, or Christopher Duffy, sort of analyzing these armies, says they're in every way the core of the army. Yeah, Savory is absolutely the best go-to. You're absolutely right. There's still nothing in the field that's better than Reginald Savory's book from like the 1950s or 60s, which is kind of like a sad comment that no one has been working on this. Not my observation, recruits. But the hope is that John Abel and I are going to fix that problem in the next 5 to 10 years. So, hope keep hope alive, and hopefully I'll have a good book for you here if life continues trucking along. All right, Preston, hi Preston, you were here earlier today. Any good books on the Russian army of the century? I sound like a broken record. I'm sorry for this. But one of the best books in English on this period is still Christopher Duffy's Russia's Military Way to the West. It's older now. It's like 1980, but it's still one of the best summaries from like a tactical perspective. There are better books about like the cultural aspects of Russia's military. Eugene Menkenov has a book that is like about the Russian military enlightenment, about like the army officers trying to reform the Russian army in the 18th century. But Russia's Military Way to the West is still just an incredible text, and if you get through that, there are a number of books. Man, you ever just lose your train of thought? I'm having trouble remembering names lately. I don't know if I need to get my brain checked or something like this, but Brian Davies, he has like a whole series of books on the Russian army in the early modern period. That is a great resource to sort of, I would encourage you to check out. One of them, one of the more recent ones, is Brian L. Davies' The Russo-Turkish War, 1768 to 1774. And once again, I'm like giving you all book recommendations, probably getting pantsed here in the real game. So let me figure out what's going on here. Give me just a second. I'm doing well, Nikolai. I hope you're good. All right, there's their cavalry that's getting like running away, and I'm still alive over here. How many of y'all listen to Prime and Load? It's the podcast I run with my friend Andrew from Britain. Alright, we won that one probably less cleanly than I would have liked. Yeah, Preston, like anything by Bagabaridze is incredible. He's one of these historians who's not just like an incredibly knowledgeable, like genius scholar. He's just a really nice guy, and so I mean that's always what you're shooting for. So I would say yeah, his work on Kutuzov is great. I mean, Kutuzov is obviously a soldier in the 7 Years' War, like a very junior rank, and fights through the 18th century before the Napoleonic period. But yeah, it's a good book. I want to say that maybe Alex Makabaradze was on Eugene's dissertation committee. But yeah, I would definitely check out both Eugene Menkenov's Russia's Military Enlightenment and also Russia's Military Way to the West. I want to say there's another scholar in America at West Point who is working on, he's like finishing his master's degree, is working on a book about like the Russian army in the period of Elizabeth Petrovna, but I think that's still pretty early days. So I don't, at least as far as I'm aware, that book is not out yet. Okay, sorry. Back to the game here. I'm letting the historiography run away with me, and I'm not actually doing the stream, so I apologize for that. All right. Oh man, we got a lot of our recruits killed, but now we can turn them into cannons, so that's great. I wonder if if I transform this guy into a cannon, will the fact that he's 500 men dead matter? Are we breaking the game? I guess we're gonna find out. Oh, man. Power gaming feels good. Okay. Do we have any ammo left? Hardly any at all. Okay, but and they came with cannons for free. A worn 1 pound gun. Oh no. Oh no. I'm like Croat over here with my 1 pound artillery. Strip their equipment before you upgrade. Well, that's something I should have seen before I did that probably. Strip their like take out this stuff. That. I hope that's what you meant. And if not, we're already doing real well here, as you can tell. Okay, there's a foundry. This is where I can buy new cannons, right? Oh man, these cannons are fire. Let's see what we got. Okay, cheese rations. Do I need cheese rations? I feel like cheese is actually not that great. Is cheese good? Tell me how good cheese is. Yeah, they did. They're right here. I'm selling them. We got a socket bayonet. Okay, so there's $300, so I can afford 6 pound gun. I feel like a bronze 3 pounder would be cool and like pretty thematic. A 6 pound howitzer, man. I could have sworn that yeah. Well, I'm partial to howitzers. Is the like little whizzing cannonball the range? I hope that's the case. 10 pound howitzer. But the bronze, like my friend Ryan, who is on here on the streams pretty frequently, tells me that cheese is alright if you want a unit to just generically be better. Okay? Thank you, Fritza dude. Cheese is kind of bad in game, but cheese IRL is real tasty. I would agree, the Senate. Oh, Preston. Read Russia. Yeah, Russia Against Napoleon by Dominic Levin is great. Great. But yeah, again. So I was thinking you were meaning primarily recommendations for like from the 18th century. There are more people working on the Russian army in the Napoleonic Wars. I mean, obviously read Alexander Makaberidze's book on like the Russian officer corps in the Napoleonic Wars. It's amazing. But yeah, like way tons and tons of people live and work sort of on the Napoleonic. Way more people work on the Napoleonic Wars in terms of their scholarly research than work on our period. Sorry, I got to get back to the game. Okay, so I am gonna sell this stuff. And what's this $75 one? I feel like that's the kind of cannon I could afford. This is like the Honda Accord of cannons. Yeah. Well, hopefully the chat will tell me that I'm wasting $75 here in a second after I buy this cannon. No help. All right. Okay, let's do it. Just finished reading Dee's 1709. Yeah, I don't really go back into the Marlburian period a ton. You tell me more. I imagine is that about Poltava? I think Peter England's The Battle That Shook Europe is the last thing I read on Poltava. Okay. All right. I'm glad it was not some sort of trick. Do I not get that 1 pounder gun for like? Oh, it's still there in the background. Nice. Okay. Let's see what we can find here. Man, I feel like I have not bought any muskets in this game, and am probably like my army sucks as a result. Okay. Russian rider recruits. I can't. Yeah, why is it glowing if I can't? Oh, because I can do that. Yeah. Alpake. Oh, yeah, of course. That's really neat. Well, I'll have to read it. Is D the first name or the last name or? Yeah, I have not read a lot on the Marlburian period since like my comprehensive exam, so it's something I should definitely get back into. Okay. Is there a place for all of this cheese somewhere? Oh, yes. Incredible. Okay, I feel like accuracy would be good for these guys. And then, but we can't put it in the cheese because you can't eat and drink, apparently. Great coats, maybe? I feel like artillery will already be dead if they're in melee. But we can't give them pontoons because it's infantry only. Daryl D. Thank you so much, Gary. I'll definitely check that out. Now, I'm just being honest. I should say maybe I'll check that out like next summer when I'm not designing and teaching classes, because that's really my job. Yeah, I'm always looking for more stuff. I mean, one of the main pieces of feedback I've kind of got on my book, which is 1733 to 1783, is like, why didn't you include the Marlborough period? Which I appreciate, but it's kind of trying to do something with it. Like, 50-year chunk is already pretty big. Tea kettle is probably the best food ration type. 100% agree. The Senate. All right, can we burn down this town yet? Maybe buy more ammo first. Yeah, good call. Okay. And I'm really supposed to siege down some forts here. Okay, you said, where's the enemy headquarters? So it is the enemy headquarters. So could I just go and like mix it up with this army and not siege down these forts? Because I hear sieging down forts is a real pain. Oh, Preston. Mostly I've been reading stuff about the World Wars, so Duffy has been an interesting detour. He does have a book on World War One. He's got a book called Through German Eyes about the Somme. So if you're a World War I nut, definitely check that out. He also wrote some stuff on like the Cold War even. Oh my, what have I done? The Cold War under like an assumed name. So it's kind of crazy, all the different things he did. All right, Korbach. Well, there was a battle here in like the 7 Years' War, so that's nifty. I feel like maybe I should go. You just got an arty unit, so that makes sieging less of a pain in terms of random events. What's the reward though? Like, what do I get? Oh, I secured 7 settlements. That's why I get a regiment of Cossack cavalry. I feel like I would rather just go fight the enemy headquarters and not siege down these forts, because like we'll kind of run out of time and my army's not that big. But that's an enemy field army there, so maybe I'll run away to Osnabrück, so I'm not really close to the main enemy army. I highly advise against fighting the HQ is you just jump to the next act. Well, so I should like try to level up the whole army as much as possible, or like what's the move? His comments about the Czechs being the backbone of the Habsburg army in World War I. Yeah. It is interesting, isn't it? And I will say the guys in Bohemia are not all Czechs in this period, just because kind of some shady stuff that went down in the 1630s and 40s. But that's a story for another day. Okay, well, I guess where did that army go? There we are. All right. I feel like I could die here potentially. Although maybe they just started running away from me. Can I level anybody up? Should probably buy better guns. Advise against. Against, he says, with all caps. Okay. Alright. Stay in the act as long as possible, because enemies get a power spike and you want to be ready for it. Yeah, but like, doesn't the enemy HQ army like start headhunting me if I stay in this act? Why are my cavalry dead? Who's even playing this game? Okay. Yeah, you want to grind for XP and money until the timer ends and the HQ chases you. You guys are blowing my mind right now. Blowing my mind. I thought I was like trying to outpace the timer and like fight the HQ army before it got that powerful. Okay, I'm gonna fight this battle here. Oh man, Albert Grant. It's a very British name for a German-looking dude. Vincent O'Hara, yeah, that's more like it. And then Adam von Reda. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. don't get any stronger if they come to meet you, so it's fine to ignore it until it comes charging. Alright, if you say so. I also gotta take some time out and name these units once I level them up here. Redcoat recruits. Rule of thumb is to be the biggest fish in the pond before you jump to the next one. Okay. But like, doesn't their army get bigger too? I appreciate what you're saying, because like, are you saying the armies in the next act are just like way more powerful? I've only ever beaten Act 2. I've never beaten the whole campaign, so I guess maybe it's like nutso in Act 3 or something. Cannons. What do I even do with cannons? Generally, I just get my cannons killed right away. Alright. Because cannons in the 18th century don't really shoot over their men, so you have to put them out on the battle line, which is how I play, but is not very min-maxed. Okay. Here we go. I feel like I'm missing the Austrians tonight. Maybe I should jump over and play them. Okay. Are they coming for me? Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, let's, oh, no. I've got no range. Help. Okay, we've got British foot over there. We've got Hanoverian Landmilites. They have a small ramp up for the few days and weeks, but quite literally the time it takes to travel to them, they will literally go to full strength. Oh, okay. Oh, I've been thinking about this all wrong then. It's a good thing I'm streaming. I'm learning how to play the game more. So people like counter battery fire is the best way to use artillery, and that again is just not really part of my experience in the 18th century world. Counter battery fire is not that common, but maybe that's what we got to do. Oh, and I don't have any canister shot. I should probably get some of that. So I imagine, like normal, they will come up and fire a couple shots at my artillerymen, and my artillerymen will insta-shatter. As is tradition. That's not my general. It's like a sad cavalry unit that some idiot forgot to refill. Okay. Well. So how do y'all like the battles? I heard Griffin in the stream today saying that they're still working on the AI, and that they eventually might like do different different versions of the AI, where it's like maybe some are more aggressive and some are more defensive, and the AI is continuing to learn like as we're playing. That's pretty cool. Historically, how large? So yeah, that's a great question, Tucker. Were you here earlier? I had somebody named Tucker earlier. I can't remember if it was you exact like whole username or not, but if so, great to see you back. So how big are batteries? I would say in some ways by the end of the 7 Years' War you have like proto grand batteries, and so like at the Battle of Burkersdorf in being summoned to get groceries. Well, good luck, my man. Go get those groceries. In some battles, the Battle of Burkersdorf at the end of the 7 Years' War, I think you have a concentration of like 80 guns. I'd have to actually look in by force of arms and see the exact number, but it's a huge sort of multi multi-battery grouping. And again, kind of like Grand Battery, it's like a bombardment that sort of disrupts the enemy position, and then the infantry attacks go forward. But yeah, I mean, so that's something that's evolving. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know that's tough. My wife's a big football person, and she also can get dejected when football teams don't do super well. I only get dejected when the armies of Maria Theresa begin to lose really badly. Okay, so it's not super common to see these groupings like this, but they are known, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in the 18th century, and like not just the Napoleonic period, although there's something that's happening in the later part of the Seven Years' War, and it's like almost like a development in the course of this period. So yeah, read about the Battle of Burkersdorf, and you can see the battery there, and it's a battlefield I actually walked. It's really neat battlefield today in like southern Poland. Oh man, we're getting charged. This is what I get for streaming. All I should or talking while I should be playing. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So pleased. Oh no, frontier recruits. Let's see if we can stop cavalry. Probably not. Alright, I feel like this is a good compromise. The artillery aren't in front, so maybe they won't get insta-shattered, but I still don't feel like I'm completely cheesing it because I'm firing through a gap here. I feel like these surf recruits are not going to make it. Come on, Russia. Elizabeth Petrovna wants more stuff. Do not lose. Okay, I feel like we gotta kind of refuse these guys. Run, run, run. You guys come up here like this. Does accuracy in Senate, you still here? I hope you're still here, man. You're the one who knows that this game works. Does accuracy get better the closer you are, or is it just like a flat thing that's constant no matter how far away you are? Okay. Yeah, we got him. We got him right. We want him. Come on, don't run away. You're so brave. You're from what will be Ukraine. Get him, guys. Oh yeah, you love to see him. Okay. Cavalry is a lot of fun. Alright, so now you guys swing back out. Send our provincial cavalry out, and Saltykov can come over here and do his thing. Oh. So how did you all get into the period? Like you must like 18th century warfare on some level, or maybe you're just really into new games. I don't know. Like what drew you all into this period of history? Was it like the Revolutionary War for the Americans, or what? Like did you kind of like come backwards from the Napoleonic Wars? Like what interested you all? I know like made you pay attention to the ads and stuff that Griffin was doing. feel like we've lost the Senate. It's a hard place to be. Oh, incredible. Yeah. Chandler's book on Marlborough is great. He and Duffy talked together at Sandhurst. Yeah. No, that's great. Exciting time for the internet. It's weird how much life has changed in the last 30 years. Gary, remind me, are you from New Hampshire? Someone from New Hampshire earlier today. I can't remember if it was you or not. If so, if I'm getting mixed up here, I apologize. Ah, yes. Yeah. So Tucker says I started with Churchill's Life of Marlborough. So y'all are more into the War of Spanish Succession era. That's fascinating to me. Any Great Northern War people? I'm a big. Nebraska. Do you know Ken Bunger? He's a big 7 Years War miniatures war gamer out in Omaha. Well, you're in New Hampshire. Thank you. I knew somebody was New Hampshire. Thanks so much, Tucker. I appreciate it. So yeah, I guess it's interesting that y'all are into the War of Spanish Succession. Do you all do like Great Northern War stuff too, or just War of Spanish Succession? Oklahoma. Oh yeah, Oklahoma for 30 years. All right, well that would probably fit you. No, you can. If you like the American Civil War, my friend Zach lives in Arkansas and specifically writes his all of his scholarly work is on the American Civil War in Oklahoma. Like Stan Wadey and Apoptoleholis campaign, things like that. Oh, of course. Okay. Well, sorry, I didn't put that together, Gary. That's great. We gotta get Andrew on the streams. I don't know how Andrew would feel about this. He'd probably be fine with it, but there's not like a multiplayer aspect. Yeah. He's great. He's great people. So nobody does Great Northern War? I know Danny Fogelman does Great Northern War in Alexandria, Virginia. But Danny Fogelman is not in this chat, I don't think. I have played some miniature games. Ah, nice. How are those rules? Normally I see like people doing... Is it Beneath Lily Banners? I can't quite recall what like rule sets are for the 1690s and stuff. I think it's Beneath Lily Banners. Maybe Twilight and the Sun King. Yeah. I'm a Final Argument of Kings guy. Huge Dean West stan. Okay, can we shatter this field artillery in one crisp volley? Let's find out. It turns out we can. Oh, yeah. This was one of the quotes that I added to the game right here on the loading screen. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Naming the generals and writing the loading screen quotes were a high point of the game for me. Up there with, adding the cross pendants, things like that to the game, which we got some. My soldiers will be so pleased to have more pocket icons. Okay. Alright. So artillery lived, which is a shocker. Ooh. Man, I feel like normally it's a question of like how bad are the negative trade-offs, but this is actually pretty good. Prepared. We've got ammo and reload speed. That's pretty cool. But orderly is veterancy gain. I feel like that's pretty cool too. Can I not see what? No. I feel like I gotta go with orderly. Ah. Well, that could be cool. I'm not necessarily opposed to that in 18th century games. But yeah, it's I'll have to check out that book. I guess that system. It's pretty cool. Sounds like. All right. I got to make a decision. Yeah, I'm too Prussian. Okay. And that was mostly cavalry, so good work, Alex. That's delightful. Okay. Brutal. Oh. Man. This is rough. Let's go with this one, I guess. And I feel like I'm going to switch out these guys to take advantage of that reload speed. Okay, I got a name. Prepared was the right choice. Oh my gosh, Marco. How are you? I assume this is the Marco based on the name here. It is so good to hear your types here. I hope you're doing well. It's been forever since the CRE. Has Alex McAbaridza got you playing this? I hope he... man, this is... We've arrived. I've got senior scholars to play video games. Okay. Incredible. Incredible. Well, I hope you're doing well. It feels like it's been half a decade since I've seen you. Maybe you go to CRE this year in Charleston. I'm trying to convince myself to make the effort. I'm definitely going to SMH. Okay, I have no money. Can you sell food? Is that even possible? I heard Griffin on the stream talking about trying to sell food. If we had the Senate here to tell us how the game worked, then I would be able to answer these questions. But let's sell some stuff and see if we can't just buy more ammo of our own volition. Tall gators. Don't you love a gator? I'm a huge gator man. I wish gators were still fashionable. Okay, that's some surprisingly good stuff. Although I feel like I sell one of these cheese. Don't tell my French maidens. Okay. Oh, the town has money too. I've never noticed that before. That's fascinating. Let's buy some ammunition. So the Senate told me I'm not allowed to go fight the boss battle, but if he's no longer here, I think I may just ignore him and go on to the second act, or maybe go out and play a. Yes, Rick. I hope Rick's doing well. I miss everybody. Hey, Oliver. Good to see you streaming good to see you as well. I hope you're doing all right. Where are you coming in from? Maybe one more. Maybe I buy some guys instead. All right, I got $500. The poor Russian commander is going to the soldier shop again. Oh yeah, that sounds good, Marco. And I'll send you an email. We should really talk. I got some things I want to run by you, and just miss talking. I can get more rider recruits. I feel like more cavalry is never a bad thing. I can't afford the artillery at all. I can't afford the Cossacks, which is a weird place to be. Surf recruits. I feel like I could afford 2 units of infantry recruits. Frontier recruits. Observation musketeers. Do we have like an observation recruit? No. Alright, we're going to buy 1 unit of... Or should I save money? Oh, no way. Gary, you are not the only one who thinks that, my main man. Don Cossacks are 4 times the price of rider recruits. That seems odd. Yeah, I would agree. But Don Cossacks are probably also like have better stats than rider recruits. Like, I guess we can literally do a side by side here. You're right, we did, Marco. That's very true. It just seems like forever since then, though. Yeah. So, what's the flag mean? I bet I can hover over it and like a tooltip will tell me. No. I bet it's like charge or speed. Probably speed? Or maybe that's probably the legs. Yeah. I bet it's like charge bonus. Maybe that's the lightning. Morale. Morale's the flag. Yeah. I consulted on this game. Can't you tell? Morale. So the Don Cossacks have higher morale than the recruits. A way better charge. They're faster. And they have a cool green arrow. That must be speed, and the other one's stamina. Who knows, man? Let's just recruit some serfs. All right. Okay. What should I do? I feel like I like lots of cool stuff, and I should equip it to my men. Coffee rations. Cross pendants for sure. Gotta get those pocket icons. Hussar sabers. That's definitely going on one of my cavalry here. Hopefully the cavalry that has the bad sword. We need for sure this guy to have a pontoon. And let's give somebody a bayonet because I'm all out of bayonets here. Yeah, can we really not get a grenadier? I guess we're gonna make you veteran musketeers. To get wherever the generals. Yeah, in this case, yeah, they're getting wherever I can't get them by being expensive. The poorest Russian army in 18th century military history here. Horseshoes. Yeah, let's give our horseshoes to some people. Do we have any blank spots for those gators? Yes. No. That's artilleryman. Did I lose the buckshot? No, the observation recruits have the buckshot, and I can promote them now. Haha! Yes, incredible observation musketeers in their nice little red jackets, just like they should be wearing. Oh, it's a beautiful game. A whole generation of young gamers will now wonder, man, the Russian army wore red in the summer. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay. I could equip the abbati or chevaux de frise, I suppose, to someone. Cheese rations. Yeah. All right. The Senate is not here telling me that I can't go and attack the main enemy army. So we're gonna go mix it up and then start an Austrian campaign, or Prussian. Maybe I'll do a coin toss here. Ooh, the music's getting more intense. Oh boy, the Battle of Korbach, a historical battle, not between the Russians and the British, it has to be said, but a historical battle nonetheless. Yeah, I feel like this could be interesting. Redcoat recruits, subsidy recruits. Their army is definitely way better than us in terms of quality, but it's also not led by a distracted streamer So we'll see what we can't do here. Oh, I got some hedges. That's what every man needs. Some nice cover to hide behind. Okay. Well. All right, let's get the show on the road here. Got a lot of really nice artillery, so it's gonna make my life difficult. So their light troops are coming out. They have a couple subsidy Jaegers. Oh, they have actual like a unique unit, the Legion Britannique. It's a great question, Oliver. Can you tell me what you mean by compare to? Like, obviously, we have a way less of them. It's actually kind of like what I write about in my scholarly research. Are you asking if... Man, wow, he's not running. Are you asking if, like, they are as detailed about the combat? Or, like, what do you want to know about them? There are fewer of them. There definitely are accounts even from like ordinary soldiers. This is one of the things I like scholars have written about a lot in the last 10 years, and I'm one of them. They frequently talk about like their family life and like what they think about religion. There are absolutely descriptions of combat. Let me know what you specifically want to know. I'd be happy to talk about that more. No, they're like sniping my general with cannons. That's not great. Oh, come on, we gotta get behind those hedges. Hundreds of my men are being killed by round shot at one time. How unlikely. All right. Just gonna stand there, huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Well. Oh, for sure. Yeah, they were expressed differently. They're definitely still there. The Germans call PTSD or mental strain or shell shock or whatever you want to call it Kanonenfieber, or like cannon fever, in the 18th century, and specifically it's kind of connected to the idea, we would say, like the idea of freezing today. So like guys who are in action and they one chaplain actually writes, it's like it's like you're being able to be pushed down by a small child. That kind of freezing is definitely known in the 18th century. It's not something that we see. They call it different things. And my colleague in graduate school, Katie Thompson, actually wrote about how like in the American Revolutionary War, soldiers talked about or talked about what we would today call PTSD. So yeah, definitely these things were known. Maybe they looked at it a little bit differently than we might today. Maybe just out of range, maybe. All right, come on now. I mean, they talk pretty honestly about fear. There's a soldier at the Battle of Lobositz in 1756 named Ulrich Breker who says, man, going into action, you feel like it would be better if the ground just swallowed you up, like you don't want to be there. So yeah, I wouldn't say like every soldier writes honestly about fear. No, keep asking questions. Is the whole reason I'm doing the stream. I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to buy my book, but definitely keep on asking questions. I mean, that's the whole reason why historians do what they do, to try and get this kind of information into the hands of the public. And so yeah, I fear's definitely kind of honestly talked about. There's a soldier at the Battle of Camden in Our American Revolution, or the American War of Independence, that he basically talks about, like, yeah, I was basically the first guy to run away, but I did so because I thought everyone else was about to do the same, so I just kind of ran for it. Pretty honestly. Not all soldiers are that honest. Ulrich Breker is a soldier who talks pretty honestly about like desertion. He deserts from the Prussian army kind of at the first major chance he gets. So maybe that's a similarity with World War One. There's probably more of a difference than World War One. So to your question, Gary, did the soldiers in the 7 Years' War have a sense of confessional war, Catholic versus Orthodox versus Protestant, or there was general, or was it like more minor? The answer is it kind of flares up when it does, like when you find, as it happens in the 7 Years' War, that soldiers are politically divided along confessional lines. What's that Calvin doing? Because in the 7 Years' War, you have two Protestant nations. I guess three: Britain, Hanover, Prussia, one Anglican, two Lutheran, versus kind of a conglomerate of Catholic France, the Holy Roman Empire, and the Habsburg lands, mostly Catholic, but maybe a few Protestants and others in there as well. And of course Orthodox Russia, obviously. And I will say the confessional stuff, I mean, like, they fight over the city of Wittenberg, right? I mean, Wittenberg is besieged in the course of the 17... Uh-oh, there go my recruits. In the course of the 1760 campaign, and literally the commander of the Austrian force in that battle is firing mortar shells into the cemetery in Wittenberg, and he's saying because he hopes to try and blow up Martin Luther's tomb. So absolutely, confessional identity is still really important. I mean, soldiers are writing a lot about... Man, my guys got massacred. Writing a lot about like what they think about religion in terms of their how it sustains them. But they're also writing a lot about they also are expressing kind of like anti-Catholic or anti-Protestant um, viewpoints, depending on exactly who they're fighting and what's going on in the battlefields. Yeah, there's a huge religious dimension to the 7 Years' War. If you want more about that, you can look at my dissertation, which is for free online. I also talk about that a bit in my first book. The Methodist movement is taken off in Britain during the 7 Years' War and the War of Austrian Succession. Some of the first major sources we have from enlisted British soldiers are from men who will in the later part of their lives be Methodist ministers, and they write about their time in the British Army in the course of giving us their conversion stories. So you get the experiences of men like Samson Staniforth, who's a Methodist soldier in the British Army in the War of Austrian Succession. It's really interesting stuff. So yeah, definitely. Let me know if you want more on that. If you're just interested in the British Army, there's a great book called Religion in the Redcoat by Michael Snape, I think. I'm going to choose to blame this embarrassing battlefield defeat on the fact that the Russian commanding general was just talking about primary sources and historiography when he should have been micromanaging the tactics. But you can know that the true answer is that I'm just really bad at this game. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I teach at a small Catholic college in Eastern Ohio, and my students are also sort of very, very interested in these kind of questions when we get to this period of history and others. I will say for the Orthodox, I mean they're bringing like pocket icons into battle with them. I've said this I think on each of the streams that I've done. One of the reasons why I really asked Griffin to have cross pendants in the game is because I wanted my friend Jegors over in Poland has dug up pocket icons and crosses from the Russian army graves on the Kunersdorf battlefield. So yeah, religion is incredibly important to the ordinary soldiers in the 7 Years' War. It's not something we can get around. It's not something we can get away from. It's a hugely vital part of their mental world, how they think about their lives, how they think about their faith. A lot of the Prussian letters that I looked at in my dissertation, the guys are kind of talking about Luther's theories of the two kingdoms. So you have a lot of that going on. It's really cool to see. Okay. All right. So this one is I'm gonna say in the bag here, and so we're just gonna run away. Yeah. Incredible. Let's have everybody run away. All right, and that's gonna kill me, I think. Should have listened to the Senate. He said, "Don't attack the enemy HQ until much later in the first act," and he was right. Should have trusted the guy who knew how to play the game. But the cool part is we get to see a Adolf Menzel sketch that was redone here for the game, which is kind of death on the march in the camp, which Adolf Menzel drew for one of his the illustrated histories of the 7 Years' War, and then Griffin redid for the game here. The cause of the Russian Empire is undone, with the British crown and Hanover triumphant. The war ends in Westphalia. Your army broken upon the field of Korbach. Okay, well, not sure why the Russians were fighting the British at Korbach, but we'll take that L and go on to a real army. Prince Ferdinand. All right. Who should we play? Do I have anyone left in the stream? I hope. Maybe. Any thoughts? I'll probably have to wrap up here before too long, but if you have views on who we should play, I would be happy to entertain these views. If not, maybe I'll wrap it here. The French, yeah, I was just playing them earlier today. Whoever I would like to play as. Well, I prefer to play as Austria or Prussia, but Nikolai, if you really want me to play as the French, I could definitely give a crack at it. Same, whichever. All right, so we'll do a little bit of an Austria campaign. I want to say I did like an Austria stream yesterday. Let me actually load that up. A lot of Russias. There we go. Let's see what we were doing in this Austria stream. What was happening? I was trying to refill outposts or something. Alt Bunslaw. Okay. I need to reinforce more outposts, and that will eventually give me the Herzog Yosef Dragoons. Okay, that could be fun. I think that's probably what I was going to do here. Let's go do that. Not much food, plenty of ammunition, not many people, but I've got a good amount of money. Dismantle the outpost for scrap. We have no men to spare. All right, I will gladly loot that money. Okay. We got another outpost down here. Ulmutz. Let's go down and... Oh, Conin! No way! This is incredible. Will our army come and attack me if I go and do this outpost? I hope not. Search the ruins? Yeah! Love to see it. Okay. Alright, let's definitely get some more captains. Or reservists? What is this unit actually called? Probably reservists, I would guess. And can we recruit another unit first? Let's see what we got going. Oh yeah, I named these regiments because Ryan Diamond was in here telling me like which Irish units he wanted me to like dress my guys up as. So we've got Esterhazy, which is a Hungarian unit, and Teuchmeister, which I picked, and then Wallace and Brown, which he chose. We got to figure out who these guys are. Yeah, I didn't roleplay much in the Russian campaign. We've got to do some more of that for sure. Oh, I love the buildings. The art style is really great. All right. Grenzer recruits. Niger. We got some cool stuff here we could buy. I'll buy some Grenzer. So at Fort Ligonier, they had one of the cap badges that you can see here on the this Grenzer's like proto-Shako, I guess. They're at Fort Ligonier. It was really cool to see. I feel like you only live once. Why not buy some Grenzer? Any votes on who the Grenzer should be? Got some nice artillery here too, man. Oh, and tons of cool stuff. Wow, this playthrough is going amazing. Oh, I'm getting attrition. Garrison with a few reservists, sufficient reservists. I feel like we used to get that money. Because apparently there's no advantage to, like, speed running the, Okay, Gary, you got it. There's no advantage to, speed running these campaigns. So we'll try and do that. All right, so we'll go back to Colleen. Attack from your studies. Oh wow. That's a really big question, Oliver. I have no idea. No, in all seriousness, Oliver asks, from your studies, what factors would you say most influenced whether a regiment held or broke in combat? Was it leadership or discipline, or terrain? I'm just fascinated about the morale in line warfare. Yeah, so there's a whole book about this, not just about combat, but like what motivates men to like desert or not desert, called Motivation in War by Ilya Berkovich. I'd really recommend you check that out. I've written a bit about this in terms of the Prussian army and like the ideologies that motivated them and kind of like their religious faith and their faith in the king. Sasha and Katrin Mobius have argued that a god and king ideology sweeps through the Prussian army in the 18th century. But a lot of it comes down, I think, to like unit cohesion. That's an incredibly important part of this. And so, having units that have like clear regional identities and like men who are from the same village, that can play into this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up. I had a request from Gary to make this unit into a specific type of Grenzer. So we're gonna go to the Chronoskoph page and find the all right. So we have Varasdeine Kreuzer or Varasdeine Sankt Jorge, Sankt George. I wonder if the uniform's pretty same. We can kind of, ooh, nice, like white and green. That's pretty cool. That's the Kreuzer, and then white and green again for Sankt Georg. It's All Saints Day, so let's choose to do the St. George Croats here. I think I'll probably make an executive decision on that one. And we're gonna keep that Shaco black, please. Don't want any weird Shacos going on here. And some stop. Some green. What the heck? And green. Yeah, that seems about right. And then they were also probably wearing the green tight pants. I've already clicked away from the. Yeah, so in 1748 they're wearing green pants. In 1762 they're wearing white pants. I think I'm gonna go with white pants just because we're in the 7 Years' War, and that feels right to me. So we'll do that. All right, cross belts. Can I have some information on the cross belts? Cross belts are white. Okay, we're good to go. And we're going to rename them Varus Dinah Saint Georg. Okay. Hey, take your pick. Thanks, Gary. Man, I've got a ton of weapons here. It's an embarrassment of riches compared to my absolutely broke Russian campaign. So give me a second to. Man, what was I doing in this stream before? Just an absolute unit of an army here. Okay, let's see if we can sell some stuff. It'd be fun if you could equip the gorgets like on the officers. But my friend has one. They're pretty cool. Cross pendants. Yeah, we gotta get some of those guys on. Anything else I want to sell? The cheese. I'm always selling the cheese. I'm gonna get my friend Jonathan Abel to play the French. I would be delighted if we could get John Abel in this game. Abel, if you're listening, keep that in mind. All right. I'm almost out of food. Good thing we stopped at a village. Now I'm also almost out of money. Huh. Funny how that works. Okay. Okay, I definitely don't have enough money to buy the extra brigade. So I guess we'll kind of wander around the universe of... I'm in Bohemia, I think, based on the village names. I mean, Moravia, maybe. We've got Olmütz right there. But Kulin, Lobositz. It's actually kind of cool. It's like kind of right. I mean, like, Lobositz is up there, and Olmütz is down and to the right, and, like, Kulin's kind of there, and if Prague was directly over to our left, that would be, I mean, nah, not really, but, you know, despite the fact that it's procedurally generated, you can get some great vibes, is all I'm trying to say here, from the game, in terms of, bad people, in terms of historical accuracy. I feel like we could potentially take this army with so many Croats. What could possibly go wrong? All right, let's actually try and see if we can get the best guns. Potsdam probably great on the reload rate. Land pattern muskets for these guys. I feel like that reload rate's not exceptional. Tula muskets. Yeah, we're gonna give these guys Potsdam muskets and put the land patterns back in storage. Tula muskets. 30 seconds. Let's trade those out. Land patterns, Tulas, that's what we got left. Okay, let's give out our Wisconsin picks. Let's give out our cross pendants, our pocket Bibles, our shepherd's axes, our pocket Bibles, nope, our Tempions, yep, our... Somebody's gonna pocket Bible whether they want it or not. No cavalry, huh? Wow, I'm starting to see the flaw. Oh, as a follow-up question, sorry, Oliver, I was distracted by the game from the point of really what I'm trying to do, which is talk to people about 8th century history. How did units recover morale after defeats like Kolin or Kunersdorf? It's a great question, and I'm actually going to sort of cherry pick and not address those two battles. But I'm going to tangentially talk about Kulin, because it does take time. There are arguments that... if you look at like the calendar year in 1757, the battles of Prague and Kolin are pretty close together in the year. It's like, wow, I have a PhD in history. It is May 6th and June 18th, I want to say, is Kolin, but you could just like ask Google, I guess, if I've got that wrong. So it's pretty close. It's like 6 weeks-ish in between these two battles. And historians in the 19th century and even the late 18th century argue that it's not sufficient time for the Prussian morale to recover. Even though they win the Battle of Prague, they take a real beating. And so it's almost like the PTSD from the first battle is like really fresh in their mind, and they go into the Battle of Kolin kind of like a little bit freaked out or like scared. So as opposed to the Napoleonic Wars, where guys are like going into battle day after day, almost like all the time, where battles stretch multiple days, there's like one battle in the 7 Years' War. I think it's Bellinghausen, maybe, where it does stretch from like an evening into the following morning. But multi-day battles are not as common, and generally, although there are like smaller skirmishes going on a lot of the time, officers try to give their men some rest in between these fights, so they're not always just kind of immediately being thrown from one battle into the next. I'm actually going to go up and try to sell these guns in order to get my third guy unlocked here. Can we do it? 22. Oh, have full art. Have full art. It's great stuff there. You can just have it right away. And even though I'm selling all of these muskets, I am not able to afford all the stuff. I feel like that's a really cool tree design. I don't know when I sell that. Definitely sell these. Is it going to come down to I can only afford it if I sell everything? Well, then why don't we keep one of the good musket types of each, and we'll just sell all this stuff. Yeah, great. Okay, well, that was disappointing. But let's go down and fight that army again, and get some better stuff here. Oh, we're still retreating. Let's shake them down. Oh, should have done that first. Wow. Okay. Let's do it. And there we go. A weak enemy field army. So we'll fight one battle after another, just like I said, yes, generals in the 18th century didn't like to do. Okay. Cantonist, musketeers, provincial. All right. Well, I don't have any cavalry, so this could be dangerous. Oh, yeah, I've got to go before too long here. Okay. I like this campaign. It's fun to have named units. Going with this one. I'll show you name those Fusiliers. So. Okay, and these guys. Some artillery here, 6 pounders. Yeah. The enemy doesn't have cannons, do they? Oh, sorry, man. You brought cavalry to an artillery fight. Okay. Deployment. Here we go. Can we just hit them from our deployment zone? Yes. Let's start shooting that cavalry right away. We're gonna put them like right there. Not a little bit behind, hopefully, the front line of the infantry, so that I can try to be historically accurate, but also not just immediately have my artillery shattered. Put these guys over here. Here and have SRCs like the reserve, and then put these the Lars Diner over there in the forest, and then we'll put these unnamed but hopefully named in the next stream Fusiliers over in the village. Oh yeah, so I had a great presentation this morning on logistics in the French and Indian War from Joby Turner, who's he teaches like the air war college or something like that. Yeah, logistics is a huge part of 18th century warfare. You tied to magazines, and you're tied to water transport specifically. I mean, one of the reasons why the Prussians are able to fight so effectively in the 7 Years' War in Silesia is you can just bring material directly down the Oder River into Silesia. Yeah, magazines play a huge part in this. I'm not sure that like there are hard and fast rules. I mean, there are times when the Prussian army kind of outpaces their train. I mean, I want to say there are moments in the 7 Years' War where the Prussian army marches at like the rate of like 148 kilometers in 3 days, which is fairly impressive even by modern standards, and people like Karl von Clausewitz say, like writing at the end of the Napoleonic Wars, that there are marches in the period of Frederick the Great's time that have not been surpassed. But as far as like food and stuff, you've got mobile bread ovens that come along with the army. Those are pretty helpful. This is something that the Hessians are scandalized when they get to North America, because the British Army does not have a similar system of like mobile bread, sort of cooking on the field. They're given like, flour to make dough, and they're like, whoa, this army does not have logistical support like we're used to. In fact, the quote that always stands out to me that I really enjoy is from, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm striking out on the names today pretty hardcore. Colonel Friedrich Julius Pretorius, who is like a Braunschweiger in the Canadian campaign, and he says, it's atrocious that we're expected to fight without being issued bread. Like, we're getting issued like dough that we're trying to cook on rocks, like hot rocks. He's like, this is how scandalized he says. Even the Cossacks and Tartars who fight on the Russian steppe are issued bread, and here we are in North America, basically slumming it with the British. So yeah, I mean, the logistics, being able to feed your men, incredibly important. You've got a huge amount of logistical train in terms of bringing ammunition to these battles. There are ammunition tumbrils or carts that follow the army. They have in the Prussian case, they're bringing them right up to the battlefield, and so the ammo carts come out at Leuthen a couple of times, and the men refill their cartridge boxes, which are already 60 rounds, which is pretty large. I mean, there are Prussian units that potentially fire off 180 or more rounds at the Battle of Leuthen. So, ammo resupply, moving heavy artillery pieces out of fortresses is a significant part of the 7 Years' War. I mean, Frederick, you often hear that he wins the Battle of Leuthen in part because of the Bruma, or the heavy growler artillery that he takes down from Breslau to go and fight in the field. I don't know how true that is. I think maybe the Prussians might have won that one either way, but it is certainly an argument that's out there. So probably something that maybe in the next 10 to 15 years I'm thinking about doing a book on. I'm really fascinated by the river transport aspect of this and the barges. It's not something that I've read a ton about, and it's something I was talking with Joby today about trying to study that a bit more. Oh, yeah. I feel like the canister is not quite as effective as in Napoleon or Empire Total War. I feel like canister was just an absolute death sentence in that game, and I'm not sure that is in this one. I feel like and I love Griffin. I think Griffin's done an incredible job in this game, so I don't take this as a criticism, because I'm just kind of comparing it to reality. But it seems like round shot is pretty deadly, and canister is maybe less effective than you would expect it to be. I mean, Duffy argues in Military Experience that canister potentially kills more soldiers than any other type of arm in these 18th century battles. Oh man. St. George is getting slaughtered here on All Saints' Day. It's a real mess. All right, come on, Brown, get him. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that makes me feel better about canister. I mean, I guess canister kind of just shred those two units, so that feels roughly historical. I feel like My poor Croats are about to be annihilated by cavalry here, so maybe we'll swing these guys out, run, and try to get these guys back, run. I do love the way that the men carry their muskets down at the trail when they're running, which is a detail that, you know, absolutely when the British are kind of jogging their way through the battles of the American War of Independence, they are carrying their weapons down at the trail. Will we manage to achieve this before the cavalry just massacres all these guys? Probably not. Alright, well, I'm impressed. Austria is just a huge step up from the Russian campaign. I'm having a great time here. 10 out of 10, no notes. Alright, well that was fun. This is exactly what you hope for in a war game. Everything works out just how you planned. Okay. Alright, guys, I think that's going to do it for the evening. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll try to do some more of this next weekend, maybe? I'm returning to my day job. I've been off for sort of Halloween / All Saints. So I will post on Twitter and on the Discord for the game, I guess, when I'm going to do one of these again. But maybe look out for one maybe tomorrow, but probably looking closer to the end of next week. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you had a good time, and hopefully I'll see you all back next weekend. Take care now.